Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're out at the range with a brand new product from OSS Suppressors. A lot of you guys have been asking me, when are you going to talk about OSS? Well, I'm talking about them now, guys. And in my hands, I have the new 2017 Helix. This is the AEM5 and it's a brand new product. All right, so this can is different than other cans that are on the market. And we're going to show you some of those differences in this video. We've brought out a dead air silencers, Sandman L, to do some comparisons to. And we're also going to put this thing on the sound meter. I know a lot of you guys are going to be looking forward to that. So, without further ado, let's get started with this video and take a closer look at the new 2017 Helix AEM5 suppressor. For years, the industry standard for testing suppressors is to have the rifle and the meter 1.6 meters off the ground and 1 meter left of the shooter. It's kind of an arbitrary number. And a lot of you guys, myself included, have argued that that's not really a realistic measuring point. Nobody's standing 1 meter left of their gun when they're firing it, so it's kind of an arbitrary number or measurement. And so many of us have discussed, and I've seen the comments in the videos below, why aren't we measuring at the shooter's ear? Well, the military has started measuring at the shooter's ear, and it's public domain, it's public knowledge. But for the CTTSO program, for the Surge program, for the CSAS program, they have microphones placed as many as 4 or 5 different locations, but they all consistently have a microphone placed next to the shooter's ear, and it's the ear closest to the sound source. So for a right-handed shooter, you'll notice my right ear is closer to the sound source, which in this case would be the muzzle of the rifle. They also take into consideration for left-handed shooters, you might be doing it differently, so they may take that measurement at the left hand. But that measurement is 15 centimeters from the shooter's right ear, or half a foot, about 6 inches, okay? So we're going to do that going forward. We're still going to do the industry standard testing where we have the rifle and meter 1.6 meters off the ground, 1 meter left, just for consistency, so we can have data that is comparative to tests that have been done for years before. But now we're also going to start doing our testing 6 inches from the shooter's right ear, which I'm typically the shooter. So now we know what that military new standard is. Now keep in mind, the military says it has to be less than 140 or less decibels to pass their testing. Anything greater than 140 decibels at the shooter's ear as they measure it is a no-go. The other measurements they take can fluctuate, but the one threshold barrier, or the one threshold measurement I should say, is the one at the shooter's ear. So now we know what the new testing standards are, and we'll be using those here on the Military Arms channel going forward. Let's get some sound data off the Helix suppressor. We will be using the ZQI M80 ball. This is 147 grain full metal jacket ammunition. We use this when we can in our testing. We have 5 rounds loaded. We are testing to the same silencer shop protocols. So we have the muzzle in line with the pickup. We're 1.6 meters off the ground, and the microphone is 1 meter left of the shooter. I'm going to go ahead and start the sound meter. And hold on, guys. And get our first measurement. Okay, so that was 150 decibels flat, all right? Round 2. 144.8. Round 3. 142.9. Round 4. 142.1. And round 5. 141.7. So the first round pop, it was 150 decibels. Every shot thereafter was just over 140 decibels, 141, 142 or so. So now we're going to switch things up, and we're going to do our metering using the new CSAS protocol, which will be 6 inches from my right ear. I know you guys are going to ask for this, so let's get it out of the way here real quick. I've taken the muzzle device off and the suppressor. We're going to just get a bare muzzle reading here on the Brulu Care 2270. Let's go ahead and reset it. And 5 rounds of ZQI M80 ball. All right, here we go. Round 1. 167.3. Round 2. 167.6. Round 3. 167 flat. Round 4. 166.8. And round 5. 166.6. So fairly consistently 166 decibels out of the bare muzzled H&K MR762A1 LRP. All right, guys, now we're going to test the new CSAS military testing requirements. This is a standard test across all military tests I'm aware of currently. The microphone is 6 inches from my ear. Can you confirm that real quick, Sam? I was going to do a quick confirmation here before we get started.
6 inches, and that is 6 inches.
All right, here we go. You got the recorder ready?
And we're good.
And we're good. First shot, a 5.
142.4.
142.4. Okay. All right, here we go again.
137.7.
137.7.
Okay. 136.3.
136.3.
Okay. 136.8.
Okay, 136.8, so it's fairly consistent.
Okay, 137.7. I think you guys can see that here in the monitor.
Okay,
as
so
well.
137.7. So with the exception of the first shot, with first shot pop, we were under 140 decibels at the shooter's ear. Now let's try something different. Let's try a standard AR-10 with the same ammunition using the dead air can and see what kind of measurements we get. Just for the sake of comparison, we're going to take my dead air Sandman L on my Midwest Industries AR-10 and do a little bit of sound metering with it so we can see how it compares to the Helix at the 1.6 meters off the ground, 1 meter left testing. Okay, round 1. $136.1. Round 2. 136.1 again. Round 3. 140.8. Round 4. 135.8. $137.6. So with the exception of one shot, we're at 140 decibels or less for 5 shots. So all right, guys, so what we're going to do now is we're all set up with the Sandman dead air can, same ammunition on the Midwest Industries rifle. I do have a Gemtech bolt carrier in here set to the suppressed setting. So here we go, shooter's ear. All right, here we go, first shot.
150.1.
150.1.
Okay.
Second shot.
149.6.
149.6. Guys, this is way past hearing safe at the shooter's ear.
Okay. 147.2.
147.2.
Okay.
Ready?
148.3.
148.3. That's well past hearing safe.
Okay. And 147.8.
So each one of those rounds is well past hearing safe, guys. And here I am shooting my cans based on meter data taken from 1 meter left of my muzzle. And what I've really should have been focusing on is how loud is it at my shooter's ear or at my ear, because this thing is not hearing safe. It's hearing safe at the muzzle, but it's not hearing safe back here. So now keep in mind, it's not just the can. It has a lot to do with the rifle as well. Cans will cause overpressure in the barrel, the overgas. Now this is a direct gas impingement gun, so we have gas coming back down here. Some of it's venting out of the bolt carrier, but we also, because of the can on the end, we have gas pressure coming back down the barrel that's venting on the ejection port side, which could also be adding to the increased decibel reading. So we have gas basically venting out the side that could potentially damage your hearing. With the HK rifle with the OSS suppressor on it, we have a gas piston system, no gas venting back here. Because it's a low pressure can, we're not getting as much gas coming back down the bore either. It really does make a difference. It's something I hadn't really considered before. So the OSS cans are unique as compared to any other suppressor on the market. They have a series of coils inside that look like jet engine turbines that allow the gases to expand and flow around the internal part of the suppressor and cool before they exit out the front of the muzzle. Now this would account for why the can measures more loudly at the muzzle than other suppressors on the market. Now keep in mind, it's my belief that most of the people that manufacture suppressors today are manufacturing the cans to be quiet at 1.6 meters off the ground, 1 meter to the left. If the new standard is to measure at the shooter's ear, which is the new standard for the military, I mean, their threshold is at the shooter's ear. If it's over 140 decibels, it's a no-go. If that is the new standard, maybe it's time for, folks in the industry to start doing things a little bit differently. So this can was louder at the muzzle, where the only person out there is the bad guy. At the shooter's ear, however, it's more quiet. It's less than 140 decibels. And again, that's attributable to the design of the can. So I know there's been a lot of discussions out there on the internet about the OSS cans being loud. And I've read all those discussions. I honestly didn't know until I came out here, but the first time I put this on the meter in the conventional measuring, or in the industry standard, using the industry standard measuring protocols, 1.6 meters off the ground, 1 meter to the left, I saw those 150 readings. I'm like, man, this thing's loud. And then we put the mic at the shooter's ear and everything changed for both cans. This can got quieter and a conventional baffled can got louder. Now OSS tells me, and I can't confirm this for myself, but they've done testing. I had said previously that the DI system was partially at fault because it taps gas off, comes back out here, vents on most bolt carriers, and goes out the side of the rifle. But you also have back pressure from the suppressor itself that flows back down the barrel and goes out the ejection port side of the rifle. OSS tells us that in their testing, it really doesn't matter. About 90% of that noise isn't between the difference between the direct gas impingement and the gas piston system. It's about the back pressure or the gas coming back down the bore. That's what they're telling me. That I can only confirm through more testing and doing different rifles, right? So, but it does make sense. I mean, this gun seems to be running a little bit more cleanly. It definitely has less back pressure. That's indisputable. And it's also quieter at the shooter's ear than a conventional suppressor. So all things combined, it's actually a pretty impressive design. It definitely has me intrigued, and I will do a lot more shooting and testing with the Helix suppressors. So 500. 4 mils. I got them on the reticle, so I'm just going to do holds. I'm not going to adjust for wind. I'm just going to go for it.
You just
do
hitting
dead
the
hold.
gong?
What's that?
You just hitting that gong?
Yeah, big 500-yard gong.
Okay.
I'm doing 3.5 mils. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Here we go. Went under it.
Yep.
So that would have been about a little over half mil off. I'm gonna do a 4 mil hold. Look, left, right was good.
Couldn't tell because I'm at a slight angle. The dirt behind it, I mean, it was behind.
There we go.
There you go.
Has a 4 mil hold, so.
Were you aiming dead center?
Yeah, I'll send another one.
Go up 0.5 mil.
All right, here we go. 4.5. $12 o'clock, a little high, so it's like right in between 4, 4.5.
Yeah. You're almost same spot as last
Yeah.
time.
Dude, it just put 2 rounds on top of each other at 500. This is so sweet. This thing shoots so differently with this can on it, man. So much better. Right next to it.
Yep.
Let's take a look inside the Helix and see what makes it different or what makes it stand out in the marketplace. First of all, we have the STS muzzle brake. It's a mounting point for the can. We also have the core, which slides out the front of the suppressor body. Now, the STS screws into the core. It is a left-hand thread, and I'm trying to do a right-hand thread here. Here we go. And that's one of 2 ways that it locks onto the can. It also has threads back here, a very coarse thread. Now, all of this is covered by the suppressor body or the housing. So we have the sleeve that slides over that protects the inner body of the suppressor. Now, if you look down inside, you'll be able to see it's just not an aluminum sleeve. Gases come out of the muzzle and are swirled around and cooled, and then they come out and engage the core. You'll see that the core comes to about here in the suppressor body. So the gases from the initial blast are vectored up into this area here where they can be swirled around and cooled, and then they come out to the core and they are routed around these coils externally to the bore of the gun. They're routed around these coils and out the front of the suppressor body. So it's throwing the gases, the cooled gases, and the sound away from the shooter and the gun. You'll also notice inside here that the bullet is allowed to pass through, and you can see a series of little dividers in there that keep the gases going out through these holes, any that might be following the bullet, and they're vectored up into these coils and again out the front of the can. Put it all back together. You just slide the sleeve over, put your core in. Now these will stay loose while you carry them in your bag, but once you mount it to the gun, it tightens up. And what's really cool is that when you fire the can, you just have to snug it. When you fire the can, the self-tightening muzzle device and the can, everything tightens itself to the rifle and will not back off. With conventional suppressors that don't use some sort of a QD mounting system, or a taper mount or something like that, you'll have a problem with the can walking off the gun or backing off. Every time you fire a shot with these, the can makes sure it will actually seat itself. Now, it's not going to get so tight that it's going to damage threads or cause harm to the gun, but it does keep the can from coming loose or walking off the gun, which is a concern for safety with some cans that directly thread onto barrels. I have this Mag Tactical AR-15 configured with an up-and-coming OSS 556 can. We'll talk more about that later, but the point is it's a low back pressure system that the can works off of, and we have 60 rounds loaded of American Eagle into a Surefire magazine. And I'm going to fire the gun like this. Now, typically with AR-15s, with a traditional can on the end of the gun, you get a lot of gas and stuff coming out to the point where your eyes will water wildly. 60 rounds on a standard AR-15, there's no way I could do what I'm about to do. So here we go. Holy cow, much less gas. I didn't have to close my eyes at all. I started to get just a little bit of whiff of gas in my face, but with a 60 round mag dump, that's pretty incredible. If I was doing that with a standard AR-15, I would be doing this half the time because my eyes would be burning so bad. So that's just a testament to how little gas is coming back down the barrel out the ejection port into the shooter's face. I hope you guys enjoyed coming out to the range with me this afternoon to take a look at the new Helix IFM762 suppressor from OSS Suppressors. We found out a lot of interesting things this afternoon. We found out that Traditional suppressors, at least in one case, are very quiet at the muzzle when we're measuring them 1.6 meters off the ground and 1 meter to the left. But when you start taking those measurements by the shooter's ear, things get turned around. The Helix is louder at the muzzle, away from the shooter, but at the shooter's ear is quieter. It's hearing safe. It's below 140 decibels. So I know there's been a lot of discussions on the internet around this. Why do we measure at the muzzle? Why do we measure 1 meter left? Why do we do this and why do we do that? And honestly, I can't answer those questions, guys. If anything, those numbers seem arbitrary to me. And we know from discussions on the internet that a lot of folks are asking, well, how does it meter at the ear? Well, now we know what the CSAS protocols are. And the CSAS protocols, of course, are 6 inches of the shooter's ear, or from the shooter's ear. And when we take those measurements, now we learn that this can is a little bit louder at the muzzle end, quite a bit louder, but hearing safe on the shooter's end. So will this change up the industry? I don't know, but I was thoroughly impressed because I've seen the discussions where folks are saying that the OSS cans are loud. Well, I guess that depends on where you take the measurements and where those measurements are important. And I think we can all agree that if we're trying to preserve our own hearing, those measurements at the ear are probably more critical than 1.6 meters off the ground and 1 meter to the left. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, you can ask those questions down below. Try to stick around for the first couple of days to answer the questions you guys may have. Also, if you'd like to support the Military Arms channel, you can do that by swinging by and checking out Copper Custom. And if you haven't already, please check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best firearms content creators and brought them under one roof, and that is full30.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.